Greetings. I greet the pastor and the ministers of this church. I greet you in the most precious name of Jesus Christ. It is a privilege for me to be here with you again, to worship with you. It's been a while, but I am glad to be here with you again. Today, you are on a theme, a better us. And by the way, I want to thank my daughter, my youngest daughter, for accompanying me today. A better us. And this is your couples weekend. Am I right? Or you're celebrating couples. Can I see the hand of all the couples in this house today? Awesome. Awesome. So I am going to primarily be talking to the couples and those who will be couples later on. So the topic that I have to share with you today is building a better relationship. Building a better relationship. And again, this is primarily going out to the couples and those of you who are going to be couples, who have planned to be couples later on. Wonderful. Okay. So I am talking to everybody today. Now, the focus, because there is such an issue in relationship today regarding men and women, we just can't seem to live together harmoniously. Something is wrong with us. We don't understand each other. One moment we are madly in love, and another moment we are falling out of love. Why? What's going on? Is it that we don't know each other? I am going to propose to you today that we don't know each other as we should. So my presentation today to you is to give you some clarity as to what men are like and what women are like, so we can build a better us. You see, if there is no we, there's no us. If there's no I, if there's no me, there's no us. But how many of us understand our own selves? So you have lived with yourself for 20-odd, 30-odd, 40-odd years. And you don't have a lot of knowledge about you. And you take the I, the me, and you bring it in relationship with someone else who don't know themselves and don't know you. And that's why we have breakup in relationships. That's why we have conflict and problems, divorces, separation, and can't be satisfied in a relationship. So, what are men and women really like? And what do they really want in a relationship? That's what we're going to be exploring today, so we can live better with each other. Can someone just bring me the bottle of water? I just seem to have forgotten it down there. So we're going to look at the differences between men and women to kind of help us understand how we should fit ourselves better. Would you like to know, ladies, would you like to know more about what men are like? Men, would you like to know more about what women are like? All right, awesome. Awesome. That's what we're going to be talking about today. What men are like and what women are like. When God made man, how did he make him? How did he make him? And when he made woman, how did he make her? We're going to find out some things about each other today. And hopefully we'll live better when we understand each other. Let's take a look at the differences in the brains. See what they're like in the brain. Men and women brain are not the same, which means they think differently about the same thing. They feel differently about the same thing. Left brain versus both hemispheres. Men tend to process better in the left hemisphere of their brain. So men are left-brained. I didn't say left brain dead. They use more of their left brain than they use their right brain. While women tend to process equally well between left and right. So men are dominant in their left brain. Women use both equally well. That accounts for women intuition, the ability to switch back and forth. So some women have a little bit of a man could have used both brain. Well, this difference explains why men are generally stronger with left brain activities and approach problem solving from a task-oriented perspective, while women typically solve problems more creatively and are more aware of feelings while communicating. When men are communicating, they think of task. When women are communicating, they think of feelings. They think of other people's feelings more so than men. Men tend to be logical. 1 + 1 = 2. That's it. Women are more perceptive. They consider feelings a little bit more. Did I hurt her feelings? How did she feel when I said that? Men just say what they say and they're done. It's done. They're gone. And they forget what they said. So, men on the left brain are more analytical, logical. Women, passion. Now, imagine that you have, in a man's brain, you have an area where there's small houses, apartments. You have 1,000 apartments in a man's brain. They all have their own separate little entrance and exit. That's in a man's brain. 1,000 little rooms. Different rooms, different entrances, different exits. But in a woman's brain, you have 1,000 little rooms, and they're all connected. One door in and one exit out. So, again, in a man's brain, 1,000 little rooms, 1,000 doors in, and 1,000 doors out. In a woman's brain, 1,000 rooms, one door in, one door out. So whatever happens, so in a man's brain, everything is compartmentalized. That means if one room goes down, you have another 999 rooms. They have different entrances and different exits, so they don't affect each other. The woman, what affects one room affects all. Because if she can't get through one door, she can't get through any. They're all connected. So when one goes down, they all go down. This is very important to understand between the male brain and the female brain. Men can compartmentalize. What does this mean? It means that if you have an argument with your husband this morning, by the time you reach to work, that is compartmentalized and all the other rooms are free. But for the woman, all the rooms are compromised. So when the man comes home and he wants to have a talk with his wife or whatever relationship he wants to have with her, she can't because her rooms are down. Everything is down. And she's saying, but We have to talk. And he says, talk about what? Well, this morning, what happened this morning? Already that is compartmentalized. That has nothing to do with now. But not so with a female. It has everything to do with the now. And he cannot understand, how does that relate to this? So you see then, the man is able to compartmentalize in different rooms, different issues. They're not related at all. But for the woman, it's different. Everything affects everything. It gets even worse. It gets worse. So that's a brain difference, emotional difference. My goal today is to help you to understand the differences between the male and the female. There's a book written Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. You should buy the book and read it. We were never meant to be the same. God designed us to be different. But it's the differences that creates the problem. We don't understand how to understand our differences, and our differences are meant to help us to complement each other, not to destroy each other. But you see, the problem is because we don't know ourselves, and we think we know other people. We really don't know them. When we were born, think of this. We all can speak, and we speak a language, maybe primarily English. Some of you may speak a little French. So here is what happened. When you were born, you were not born speaking a language. You were born fitted with all the apparatus for speech. But unless you hear a language, you wouldn't be able to speak it. So what you hear, the language you hear, is a language you speak. The same thing with thinking. We are born with all the apparatus, mental faculty to think. But no one taught us how to think. So we think like everyone around us. We do things like everyone around us. We grew up to be 30 years old and have no clue as to who we are. When somebody asks you the question, who are you beyond your age, beyond your gender, beyond your address, beyond your culture, what would be left? Because we don't think about ourselves. We don't reflect about ourselves. We go through the days thinking about everything else. So at 30 or 35 or 40, we have no idea as to who we are. And we take up that me, that I, and put it with someone who don't know themselves either. And that's where we have problem. So we want to go back to see how different we are and how we can fit those differences together to make a better us. Because without the I, without the me, there is no us. But once there's us, the I is collapsed within the us. So, women, emotional difference. We're not the same emotionally. Women typically have a larger and limbic system than men. The limbic system in the brain is where a lot of emotion and pleasure and stuff like that is processed. It's a group of structures in the brain. It's called the pleasure center in the brain, which allow them to be more in touch with their feelings and better able to express them, which promotes bonding with others. Women bond faster and easier with others. Women bond with women faster and easier. Women have more friends than men. Women speak more words per day than men. If a man speaks 1,000 words a day, a woman speaks 10,000. They have a need to bond, need to communicate, to express their feelings. If a woman cannot express her feelings, she feels trapped within herself and become depressed. That's why women need to talk. They say, let's talk about it, let's talk about it. And the men say, talk about what? They want to talk, and they will talk and talk and talk and talk. They have a need to talk, to express themselves. Difference. Because of this ability to connect, more women serve as caregivers for children. If most women, notice that. More women serve as caregivers, social workers, caregivers. Nurses, the downside to this larger deep limbic system is that it also opens women up to depression. Because you feel more, you feel deeper, and you want to need to connect. You become sad when you cannot. When you cannot express yourself, you become sad. If you're in a relationship where you're not able to speak your thought, to share your feeling, you find somebody else to share it with. And if you can't find anybody else, you can get into very depressed feelings. So husband must understand that wives have a need to speak, to talk. Especially times of harmonious shifts, women need to talk. When the hormones are shifting, men are drawn to women. Now, for the woman's side of things, for the men's side of things, what about men's emotion? Here, men are drawn to women who respect and admire them. Men are attracted to women and are drawn to them if these women admire and respect. A man's greatest need is in his own design. When God made Adam, he placed in him one of the deepest need. And that need is not just for a companion. It's not just for, as is commonly believed, sex. Sex is not man's greatest need. It is not designed like that. That may be his second greatest need. His first greatest need is that the woman support him. The man's need to be supported, to be admired, is greater than any other need. That's why God made Eve for Adam as an Ezer. The Hebrew word for helper is Ezer, the column that holds up the roof. The man is the roof. He's a covering. He's a protector. The woman is a column that holds it up. The roof is vulnerable if it's not supported by strong column. It falls. No matter how massive and how strong it is, it has no strength if it has no column. When God made Adam, he said, it's not good for the man to be alone. I'll make him an Ezer. I'll make him a supporter. A woman who does not support her husband's dream and aspiration is a relationship that is on the spiral down. Because somebody else will walk in who appears to support him. It's important to understand the differences. So, men usually shut down or respond with anger when they feel disrespected by their wives. Little girls need to know how to respect their brothers. Little boys need to know how to respect their sisters. Little girls need to understand, need to be taught how to respect men and boys. So they grew up to be women. A lot of women grew up, have no respect for men, don't know how to respect their husbands. A lot of boys grew up to be men who don't know how to admire and respect a woman. They don't respect. If a man does not respect his mother, he will never respect his wife. If he doesn't respect his sisters, he will never respect his wife. If a woman does not respect her father, she will not respect her husband. This here we break down. Building better relationship is not rocket science. It's the small things. Think of this. For those of you who are married, if I ask you to tell me the day, the hour, when you actually fell in love with your spouse, you will not be able to tell me. It's the small things that occur over time. Those small moments that you spend together that accumulate. And you said, yes, I'm in love. But it's not one thing. It's an accumulation of those small moments, those small things that make you feel that you're in love. How he respects you, how he treats you, how she admires you. That's what makes a difference. Men will rather not be loved at all than feel inadequate and disrespected by their wives. And a lot of relationships break up because women don't respect their husband. Now, given that some men don't do anything to be respected, They don't earn it. Respect is earned. It's not a privilege. It's earned. And if one doesn't do anything for respect, how does one expect a wife to respect you when you don't care about your wife? It's a two-way street. Respect is reciprocated. It's earned. It's not automatic. So the man cannot say, I'm the head of the house, if you don't show that you're the head of the house. You're not the protector. Rain falls and the wife is all soaked in water because there's no roof. There's no protection. There's no safety. How can one respect someone who doesn't provide the necessity of relational health? Are we getting somewhere? Women tend to communicate more effectively than men, focusing on how to create a solution that works for the family, talking through issues and utilizes nonverbal cues such as tone, emotion, and empathy, whereas men tend to be more task-oriented, less talkative, and more isolated. It's not that men can talk, it's that we have not learned to communicate well. We lock down easily because most men know they'll never win an emotional conversation with their wife. No matter how you try, you're not going to win. Before she make you win, she start to cry. Not easy. Men have a more difficult time understanding emotions that are not explicitly verbalized, while women tend to intuit emotions and emotional cues. So what this means is that men doesn't read emotion well. Women do, and women express it better. Sometimes wives, when you're feeling things, don't expect your husband to know what you're feeling without you expressing it. Let him understand your feelings and where it hurt. And men, don't use your logic to try to solve that. Understand, listen carefully. You know, I want you to take a piece of paper out, a sheet of paper, a white sheet of paper if you have one. And I want you to, it has to be an activity with two individuals. And for those of you who are spouses, I want you to work together with this. A very simple exercise. I want you to get a piece of paper. Everybody get a sheet of paper. Those are you, all your couples, and those of you sit together. Get a piece of paper. When you all get it, let me know. Everybody got a piece of paper? All right. You're going to need a pen or a pencil now. And I want you to face the person next to you. And I want you to draw. I want one person. One person needs to have a pen, not the other. Draw a big 6 in the center of the page. And let the 6 face you. Now, so you're seeing a 6. Ask the person before you what they are seeing. All right? We got it? Not done yet. So here are two individuals, a couple. And they're having an argument. They're struggling. The man can't seem to understand his wife. And his wife cannot seem to understand her husband. And they're blaming each other. But between them, the issue, there are two perspectives on reality. The wife is seen as 6. That's her reality. The husband is seen a 9. That's his reality. And she's saying, it's a 6. And he said, no, it's a 9. How can you see a 6? It's a 9. Both are experiencing a reality. Now, what must the husband or the wife do to see the husband or the other person's perspective? You have to close your eyes to your perspective. Get up and look at from his perspective. Now, let me give you an example in following up with this. There was a lion, and everyone in the neighborhood was afraid of the lion. This lion sits up on the hill and he roars day and night. He seemed as if he'd never sleep. Everyone was afraid of this apparently angry lion, roaring and fussing and anger. And a little boy decided to go up to look for the lion. And the little boy climbed the hill and went up, and the lion was roaring and roaring and roaring as if you want to eat the little boy. The little boy wasn't afraid of the lion. For some reason, he was pretty brave. And when he went up there, he saw the lion, and one of the lion's paw was out. And there was something in the lion's paw. And the little boy pulls it out. And the lion stopped roaring. He was roaring from a place of hurt. The people thought he was an angry lion, a wicked, a bad lion. But his roar was a roar of pain. Sometimes the reason why your spouse is so angry, sometimes so frustrated, is because there's pain. They're frustrated and they're angry and they're miserable from a place of pain. And you are not seeing the pain. You're seeing the anger. You're seeing the frustration. And you're not knowing that there's a pain there. There's a hurt. And you may have caused the hurt. And now you're blaming the person for lashing out the way they are lashing out and knowing that there's pain. So stop a while and step back and ask yourself a question. Is there hurt here? Is there pain? Maybe the pain goes back to childhood. Maybe the pain goes back to the early stage of the relationship. But there's pain, there's frustration, there is anger there while the person is behaving the way they are behaving. The lion was roaring and was hated by everyone because they thought he was an evil lion, whereby he was roaring from a place of pain. What pain have we been causing our spouses that causes them to lash out the way they do? And now we step back and we blame them and say, it's a wicked wife, it's a wicked husband, why did I marry to you? But think about it, when you just got married, was he the same way? So somehow, from the day you said I do, when you were so loving, to the day when now he's lashing out and she's lashing out, could it be that you may have caused some hurt? If this person was not the way they were when you first met and fell in love and nobody could tell you any different, you call them, you text them, you're all over them, and now years later, the pain occurs and the person is lashing out. Could it be that you may have contributed to that pain? And maybe only you can help to fix it. So breaking it up and walking away is never the answer. Because you have taken a person and you have broken the person. And now somebody else may have to deal with that broken person. So people lash out and become frustrated sometimes from a place of pain. The next time when your spouse lashes out the way they do, or angry or miserable or whatever, try to find out, what did I do something wrong? Help me so I can change to have a better us. To have a better us. Men tend to be less desirous of and knowledgeable in building intimate relationship. When men come to a relationship, women generally are better and come more prepared for a relationship than most men. Doesn't mean that a man don't love his woman. But here is what happened. The way we raise our boys and the way we raise our girl set the foundation sometime for failure in their relationship. A boy comes to a relationship, a man comes to a relationship. He has not been 100% prepared. I have seen many relationships that comes to me, and in the early stage of a relationship, a man gets married, love his wife dearly, will die for his wife, but in the early stage, he still want to hang out with his friends. And guess what? She wants him home. Honey, when are you coming home? She goes home, she makes a dinner, everything is nice. You know, I'm going to stop by the guys. I'm going to hang out. Now, look at this. She's home. She's waiting for him. But he feels he want to hang out. He doesn't, and he feels trapped. He don't feel as free as he used to feel anymore. Because you see, the female comes prepared for that relationship, and he comes not as prepared as she is. So he feels kind of trapped because now, and here's where the issue begins. He wants his wife, but he also wants to hang out with his friends, with the guys. And she's dying. She's calling him 1,000 times. Where are you? What time are you coming home? So, honey, why are you bothering me? I'm coming home. You know, I've been through that. I've been through that. So understand, because when a woman is a little girl, notice what she plays with. Notice the game she plays. Notice the games boys plays. Girls are always playing with doll, combing their hair, making house, dreaming of a house. Guys are playing with guns, with trucks. Notice that. So the woman grows up to be person-oriented, and the man grows up to be thing-oriented. He's more concerned about the thing she's concerned. And you notice some men, you can relate to this. You go home, and you take off your socks, and you put it in the bed and hear what your wife says. You put your clothes around the house and hear what she says. And ask her, say, honey, so say to her, honey, tell me this. Why don't you want my socks there? Why don't you want my shirt there? And hear what she said. Well, if someone comes in the house and see this all about, they'll think this is the kind of woman I am. Notice that now. She's thinking about how other people will come and see our house and think that she's that kind of woman. So guess what? The woman's house is an extension of her personality. She's thinking of others when she thinks of her house. Most men will wear the same suit for 3 weeks straight. I don't even realize that they wore that shirt last week. But not a woman. Because she's thinking what other people are going to say when they see her in the same dress. The guy tend not to care much, but the woman care. And in fact, if a woman goes to come to church and somebody else have the dress that she has on, she want to go home and take it off. See, you see the difference? Men don't care about such thing. You come to church with a suit, the guy have a suit on, you say, yeah, man, that's great. No big deal. But women are different. They're person-oriented. So knowing that about a woman, how should a man conduct himself? She needs to be admired. That's why when Adam saw Eve, what he says, wow. He said, this is woman of my flesh, bone of my bones. Admiration. So women need to be admired. Okay. My computer here is okay. So here we go again. All right. Emotional difference. Men tend to be, God knew, this is personal difference now. God knew a man needed special help because he stated it is not good for the man to be alone. God said that, not Adam. I'll make him a helper suitable for him. If you understand this as a wife, you can open up a whole new and complete world of communication and deeper relationship with your husband. When a woman gets this message and understand what a man needs, that he needs, think of this. Your little child comes home from school one evening, and the little child gets an A on a project. It doesn't matter what the teachers say, how the teacher praises the student and all the friends. That child is heading home with an expectation to show mom and dad what they have got. Mom and dad's praise is greater than all the praises at school, all the praises of friends and teachers. If mom or dad didn't pay attention, that child is hurt. But when mom and dad pays attention and say, that's great, John, that's great, Susan, that child is motivated to do better. Now watch this. When your husband comes home, he gets a promotion at work, he did something that got some raise or stuff, and he comes home. It doesn't matter who he has told. He wants to tell his wife. And he comes home and he shares that with his wife, and she says, oh, that's all? You couldn't do better than that? You know we need money to do this? That's all they give you? Now he's coming home, gung-ho, just like a little boy getting an A. Things has not been great financially at home. So he got a little raise and he's happy about it, and he comes home just to be flattened by his wife. Watch next time if he comes home and shares information. He feels deflated. He feels deflated. And that leads a spiral down. Here's another example. Johnny is only 4 years old. He's making a bridge so his truck could go underneath the bridge. And he's spending every moment on the bridge. His mom called, Johnny, it's dinner time. Come for dinner. Johnny said, I'm coming, Mom. I'm coming. And little Johnny, still there, want to finish his project so he can show his mom what he has done. He want to feel the satisfaction of making something. His mom got frustrated, comes over, grab little Johnny by the arm, and while she's pulling little Johnny, she knocks over his bridge. And Johnny cries, I hate you, Mom, I hate you, Mom. But went and have his dinner. Let's fast forward. Johnny now is a man with his own wife. And Johnny sits at the television watching his Super Bowl or his basketball game, something he loves so much. His wife comes over. Johnny, I want you to go to the store and pick up something for me. Johnny said, I'm coming, honey. Just going to get this part of the game. And she comes again, and she demands that he comes and go to the store for him. She ignores what is important to him as his mother ignores what was important to little Johnny. So Johnny reacted, and his wife, if you don't love me, why? This is more important to you than me. Here's where we go wrong. If Johnny's mother has recognized that Johnny was creating something from his mind and said, Johnny, this is great. You're going to be able to come back to it again after supper. And I want to see the end result of it, Johnny. Johnny will quickly leave what he's doing because he knows he's going to come back to it. And Mom, it's important to Mom because it's important to me. Johnny becomes a man. His wife doesn't see what's important to him. She sees as nothing. And that's where the conflict emerges, and the enmity and the anger, because we don't value what her spouses value, no matter how small it is. We don't care about what they care about. It has to be me. We forget about the us. It's me, it's mine. Meet my needs. No matter how small it is. And if a person likes that, if it's something they're satisfied with, recognize that and appreciate that. And say, honey, I know you love the game. I know it's important to you. The moment you say, honey, I know it's important to you, that man will find it more easier to get up and to do what you want to do. Because you have recognized that he loves the game. He's not out in the street drinking. He's at home watching a game, and he loves it. Recognize that. These are the small things. And the other way around. A wife loves to fix up her house. The husband walks in with his boots, don't even recognize what his wife is doing. He comes, he eats a dinner, and didn't say, honey, this is beautiful. She has put so much effort in it. She spent time making it for him. And he comes, he sat down, he sits down, and he eats it up, and didn't say, honey, this is wonderful. How do we build better us? When we don't recognize the him, the her. We don't recognize it's a him or her that makes the us. Small things that matters. One of the things that I've learned to do with my daughters here, when my daughters dress, I always tell them, oh, they look nice. Small things that build relationship. When was the last time you tell your wife how she looks? When was the last time when your husband fixed something at a house, you say, honey, that was great. We pass up the small things and we tell God every time you miss an accident and you stop to praise him. He provides something for you, you stop to praise him. You have never seen him, but everything good that happens in your life, you stop to praise him. The small things, the big things, you stop to thank him and to praise him, and you don't want to forget that. Yet the person you'll see every single day, you never stop to say thank you. How do we build a better us? That's the idea. It's not going out and buy your wife a car. It's those moments. You come home and she's in the kitchen and she has her house dress on. You just go behind her, hug her and say, honey, I love you. I miss you all day. Your husband come to the door. It's freezing. It's freezing. Before he stepped through the door, he stopped to clean the snow. Meet him with a cup of tea when he comes in. Say, honey, I know you were outside. It's the small things that makes the us better. The grass is never greener on the other side. The grass is greener where it is nurtured and watered. Women tend to find their identity in close relationships, while men gain their identity through vocations. A man's identity is connected to what he does. A woman's identity is connected to relationship. Every time a divorce occurs, most people believe it's only the woman is hurt. The man's identity is connected to his family. His work. You go out and see a man working out there and ask him why he's working. It's always for family. Always family. He will work 10 jobs and you ask him, why are you working so hard? My kids, my family. When that family is broken, he loses his sense of identity. He don't know who he is anymore. He hurts beyond measure because his identity has become distorted. And that's why some men drink, they do all kind of stuff because their identity has been broken. So don't ever believe when a divorce occurs, a separation, the man doesn't hurt. I mean, some men, but most men hurt. So, because of a woman's emotional identity with people and places around her, she needs more time to adjust a change that may affect her relationship. Women need to adjust easier. They take longer to adjust than men. A man can logically deduce the benefit of a change and get psyched up for it in a matter of minutes. Not so with a woman, since she focuses on immediate consequences of relocating. For example, she needs time to overcome the initial adjustment before warming up to advantages of it. Very, very important. Now, differences in sexual needs. And this is a very important part of understanding each other. We're sexual beings. Sex is God's design, not man's design. And some churches have a problem with talking about sex. Sex is God's idea. You read the book of Songs of Solomon, all over the Bible, God talks about relationship and sexual relationship. There are two reasons why God gave man sexual relationship. One for procreation and one for pleasure. A woman's sexual drive tends to be related to her menstrual cycle, while a man's drive is fairly constant. The hormone testosterone is a major factor in stimulating a man's sexual desire. It doesn't go away. It's 24/7. It's like a switch. On or off, and usually on. So understand that, ladies and gentlemen. And men, understand that. Remember, I started out by saying that men's brain have small rooms, and they compartmentalize anything. Women's brain don't have any compartment. It's one, and when one goes down, all goes down. Here is where the application becomes very vivid now. So when something happens, if a bill is outstanding, it affects a woman's emotion. If it hasn't been paid and there's a possibility of turning off the internet or the water or whatever it is, all the rooms in her brain is compromised. Everything is down. For the man, that room is compartmentalized. It has nothing to do with anything else. So now the man comes home, and him and his wife want to have a relationship, and you know what I'm talking about. And she says, but let's talk about the bills. Let's talk about that's going to cut off. So what does that have to do with this? He cannot understand because he knows, he's concerned. And so now the wife thinks he doesn't care. She thinks he doesn't care about the bill, but he does care. It's just that he has compartmentalized that for another time. What if we can discuss that tomorrow? But she said, no. So, but here now, the difference, the man must understand that the woman's mind is connected to everything. Everything is emotional. If he said a harsh word to her that morning, it compromised everything else. And that's where the conversation needs to happen now. Okay, honey, let's talk about it. The wife said we need to talk about it. I said, okay, let's talk about it. But can we get back after we finish talking about it? So you see then, the difference is not that the wife is evil. It's the way she is. Everything is connected. If it's a bill, if it's something at work, if somebody said her hairstyle didn't look good, everything goes down. Not for the man. So you see then, understanding. If the wife comes home and is complaining that somebody didn't say something nice to her at work, sit down and listen. If you don't, you are going to have consequences. So it's very important. A woman is stimulated more by touch and by words. Here's another difference again. And it's God's design. This is how God made us. Remember the book of Esther? Esther. The book of Esther. Esther saved her people by just appearing before the king and looking nice. You studied the book of Esther. She had a tenant, a bather in herbs that was imported from India. Her hair, her body was perfumed with and when she should not have stepped into that chamber because the king did not ask her to come. And anyone who entered and the king didn't ask, you're dead. But when Esther, again, the grace of God was upon her, but some work was being done on her body. When she stepped into that chamber, when the king saw her, it's like when Adam saw Eve and he had to lift. You see, men are visual. What they see affects their mind. What a woman hears affects her mind. So a man needs to be able to speak well to a woman, because by speaking to her, she feels secure, she feels protected, she feels cared for. But a man don't need to hear that. All a man needs to do is to see. And when he looks at a woman and she looks attractive, that's his first step, but it's not his last. Because though she is attractive, he's looking for more, coming back to the support. So you might find a man married to a woman who's not very beautiful. And he may have passed over a beautiful woman because he didn't find the support in them. They're attractive. They draw his attention, but they couldn't keep it. It is a support in a woman for a man that keeps his attention on her. Physically, he's drawn to her, but that don't keep him. So remember that. Woman needs the words. Listen this. A woman will more forgive a man when he cheats on her than a man will forgive a woman who cheats on him. Why? Because here is where the woman's heart goes melt. He comes, because men don't cry a lot. So he comes. Now, first thing, the woman will need to know some information. The man don't care who it was, just that it happened. That's what he needs to know. It happened and it happened, that's it. The woman needs more information, who it was. I need to see her. Is she prettier than me? She needs to know all that information. Now, he apologized. He comes and he's crying. Now he wants a conversation. He has a conversation. He cries. He sobs. He clasps his hand. He asks for forgiveness. If she allows him to touch her, to come close to her, she is forgiving him. She has forgiven him. But not for the man, because he's all logical. A plus B equals C, happen, that's it. The difference, because she's more empathetic. She carries that nature of God. That nurturing, that caring, a forgiving nature. That's why children run to their parents for mercy, because she carries that. She carries that. She carries that part of God that is tender, nurturing, feeding. He carries the other part of God. And both together we complement Almighty God. While a man needs little or no preparation for sex, a woman often needs hours of emotional and mental preparation. Harsh and abusive treatment can easily remove her desire for sexual intimacy for days at a time. It's the last thing to go in a relationship, but when it's gone, sometimes it's impossible to bring back. You can measure the temperature of a relationship by measuring the intimacy part of it. It's the last to go, and it's the hardest to bring back. When people lose desire and feeling for each other, the relationship is almost dead. It's not impossible. So understand the differences. Women need to be prepared. They're like an old-time stove. You turn it on, put your hand on it, you wait hours before it comes up. Women needs to be prepared. Psychologically, emotionally, and in every way. But once they are ready, once they are prepared, the relationship blossoms like anything else. We're different, and we're meant to be different. When a woman's emotions have been trampled by her husband, she's often repulsed by his advances. Women will often feel like prostitutes when they are forced to make love while feeling resentment toward their husbands. However, a man may have no idea what he's putting his wife through when he forces sex on her, and it's called sexual abuse, and you can go to jail for it, by the way. I'm serious, yes. If a man forces his wife in those areas, he can go to jail. So here's what I'm saying, and I teach human sexuality, and I always tell my student this. Sex is not something that a woman has and a man wants. Sex is not something a man has and a woman wants. Sex is something that two people come together and celebrate. Two married people. It's not meant. Now God gave everyone this desire, but he also gave control. It's not for everyone to indulge in. It's for two people who love each other, who want to spend their lives together. It's not something you play with, you throw around. It's two people caring for each other on that level, want to build children, want to enjoy each other. Then you enter into that covenant. And that's where sex is for married couples, not for people who want just to experiment. Because, and here's a situation, and I'm closing pretty soon. Here's a situation. And tell me if God's word is not true. God tells us that sex is for marriage. When people have sex outside of marriage, when they are promiscuous, when both men and women are promiscuous, they open themselves to develop many different types of things. Cervical cancer is one of them for women who have been promiscuous from early years. And if a man is promiscuous, he can also influence cervical cancer in a woman. God set boundaries upon her sexuality because he wants children to grow up in intact family. He don't want children to be without fathers and mothers. And that's when we throw our sexuality around, that's what we are saying. Nothing that you do is 100% protection against having children out of wedlock. So it's very important that you understand God's design and what he wants. He wants family. He wants children growing up. He wants man and woman to enjoy what he has given them freely. But he wants them to have it in the bounds of marriage. So once you know you're ready, you find someone that you can love and to live with. And you make a pledge with that person. Don't pledge to break it again. When I was 26 years old, I found a woman of my dream. She was only 19 at the time, was 25, she was 19. I married to her when she was 20. And this year we're going to be celebrating our 37 years of marriage. And as a man, I've seen many women that I attracted to, but I've never loved another woman as I love my wife. And I've told her that many times. I don't know what I would do if anything happened to her. But you have issues. It doesn't mean that we don't have issues and tongue and teeth don't meet. But you make a pledge. How can you live with somebody so long and then unless they want to kill you? And then you just get up because you see somebody else and say, I don't want you anymore because you're getting old. I see another younger person or another person with more money. It's selfishness. It is selfishness. After you have invested so many years in a relationship, just to throw it out without any attempt to get help. Seek help. These basic differences, which usually surface soon after the wedding, are the source of many conflicts in marriage. From the start, the woman has a greater intuitive awareness of how to develop a loving relationship. And look at this now. Who will go out and buy a marriage book? Who will go out and buy these things and bring in? Usually it's the lady that does it. Men do it too, but mostly the woman. Let's go get counseling. The man said, I don't need counseling. You go. I've seen that. I've done a lot of marriage counseling. And usually some men, it's changing now. Men are reaching out now. But before, it's always a woman. The men say, you go get help. I don't need any help. You're the one who need help. You both need help. One person can't break a relationship. It's two people. One may have more fault than the other, but both of you can work on it. And even if you think it's the woman who needs the help, go support her then. Go to the counseling and sit and support her. And we need to build better relationship. Better us. Okay. Finishing now. The man, on the other hand, does not generally have an instinctive awareness of what the relationship should be or what her deepest needs are, and vice versa. She don't have his deepest need either. He doesn't yet know how to encourage and love his wife or treat her in a way that meets her deepest need. Women prefer 30 to 45 minutes foreplay. Men prefer 30 to 45 seconds. Yes. I go back to what I said. It's a switch. It's always on. They need no time. All right. So, finally, men can become fully aroused in a matter of seconds, responding quickly